Yeah, Jarrod, we're going to start with questions for Jarrod. Yeah.
Jarrod, I think one of the things that's captured the imagination in this run of yours is all those personal stories, and yours is a pretty exceptional one. How does it feel to know where you've come from, to be on the verge of where you are?
Oh yeah, I think it's just taking kind of each year as it comes, and it's been a strange one from, let's say, 8 years ago. I think it was when I first played for Hereford, and now to be in a Europa League semi-final. I wouldn't have thought it would have gone this way, but it has, and I'm obviously grateful for where I am right now.
Questions for Jarrod?
Yeah. I bet you've probably been inundated this week. What's the goodwill like, the messages of support? Has your phone been red hot?
Oh no, yeah, of course. I've got friends and family who, from the first game against Zagreb, my first Europa League game, and they're just all buzzing for me to be playing in the Europa League. Like I said, we probably never have thought it, me, my friends, or my family. So yeah, they're full of support and ready to watch tomorrow.
Jarrod, how easy have you found the step up to playing Europa League football? You've obviously travelled from playing in the EFL to the Premier League. You seem to have found the transition to all of those quite easy so far. Has the Europa League been any different?
I wouldn't say it's been easy playing in different competitions, but I think for me, my mindset and the personality that I am, I just keep moving forward and just try not to let anything stop me. And I think the type of player I am as well, being hard-working and just giving everything out there, that's what's probably made it a little bit more easier for me. I just kind of take everything in my stride and just enjoy it.
Jacob?
Jarrod, you were tipped for a relegation battle last season. This is your first season in Europe. You've had battles to get through the last 2 rounds. So it feels like every time as a team that your backs are against the wall, you produce your best. Would it be a mistake, given that, to write you off 2-1 down?
Yeah, no, we've probably, like you said, been tipped for relegation after the back of finishing in the Europa League place and then doing unreal again this season. Not just in the league, but in the different cups that we've been in as well. And then to be here now where we are, when we had a tough group, and then Sevilla, who have won the competition more times than anyone probably, to knock them out, and then also Lyon as well when we went there and scored 3 goals and comfortably won. So we've probably been wrote off, and we just keep responding with good performances and good results. So that's all we can do.
The lady there had a question.
Hi Jarrod, I'm Sonja Pahl from Hit Radio FFH here from Frankfurt. Jarrod, have you ever heard about what is going to happen here in Frankfurt when there is a Europa League match on?
No, I've never heard what's happening. You have to tell me what that one is.
Well, the fans are going to be very impressive, and you're going to have a real party in front of the match. In a positive way, I hope. And there's going to be a big choreography, and usually it is really very, very, very strong in emotions. So we have been to West Ham, we've seen your fans doing a party before the match. Do you think this is going to be some kind of impressive for you if you see the Frankfurt fans do anything?
Oh, it's a semi-final of a European competition. I wouldn't expect anything less. And full credit to the Frankfurt fans that came away to our place last week. I thought they were brilliant, and it's just good to see different cultures in this competition. You go to different countries playing against different teams. Obviously, we're used to just English fans week in, week out. So it's definitely something different. But like I said, it's a European semi-final. I wouldn't expect nothing less than a top atmosphere.
Rashane?
Jarrod, obviously David Moyes is sat next to you. In his managerial career, he signed a number of players from the Championship who have gone on to play for England or at least become proven players in the Premier League. Talk me through the role he's played in your development over the past 12 months.
No, massively. I think a lot of it is confidence as well. And I think, the manager's won for, like you said, bringing players from the Championship. And I was obviously nervous making a step up to the Premier League because when you're in the Championship, you're only playing in the top division. And And I think I remember when I first signed my first 2 games with Liverpool and Man City away, and the manager managed it really well with not, could have put me in the starting 11 for them 2 teams and I could have looked miles off it. So he's been great with me, my development, what I need to improve on to me about improving, and you need that little kick to get you to the next level where I want to be and where the manager wants me to be.
And Jarrod, this season you also become a big game player. I think it's 16 goals and 10 assists in all competitions. Is that something you personally thrive on, the big moments, season those big moments?
I think it's just showing what I'm about, and improving on what I done last season. I came in last season for first season in the Premier League, about finding my feet, and this season it was believing in my abilities, knowing how good I am, and trying to show it week in, week out with goals, assists for the team.
And last question from me, Jarrod. I'm not sure if you're aware, actually I'm pretty sure you're aware in fact, of your nickname, Jarrod Bowen. Talk me through the nickname itself and obviously your how appreciative you are of the support from the fans.
Yeah, no, it's obviously a big name to be a nickname with. But yeah, the fans since I've signed have really been supportive, positive to me, and the way I play, I think they enjoy the way I play, and I enjoy playing for the fans. It's a great relationship I've got with them.
Jordan from the Sun.
Hi, I'm Jarrod. How aware are you of the history of this fixture? Obviously, since West Ham withdrew against Frankfurt, the talk of 1976 and Trevor Brooking. How aware have the squad been about that? Have you spoken about it? And in terms of you can then go on to eclipse them and become an even more historic team, has that been spoken about? And
no, I haven't. I only saw it myself online with playing the European final, and it was against Frankfurt as well. I wasn't sure of the year. But not that it's been, spoken about in high conversation. I've just kind of seen it online, which is a bit strange to play, a semi-final against the same opponents. But, I think, we haven't spoken about it.
You've spoken a couple of times already today about confidence and the role that plays in your game. Just talk us through that and why it's helped you. Because there was an incident towards the end of the first leg where you attempted an audacious overhead kick. Is that sort of an illustration of the level of confidence you're feeling right now?
Yeah, it could have been. Or that could have just been the fact I saw the ball there and just tried to make any sort of contact with it, and it probably connected with it too well. But I think as an attacking player, you need that confidence. You need to be scoring goals, getting assists for the team, because then you're building on the performances from before. You've got that momentum. But yeah, obviously my confidence is high. I feel like I'm having a good season, but there's still plenty more football to play, and still I think I can get higher.
Okay. Sam. One more from Sam. Last one.
Thanks, Jarrod. Sorry. Just a quick word on Declan Rice, if that's okay. I mean, we've all seen him go from strength to strength this season. And just as a teammate, how much can you sort of look to him in big games like tomorrow night, and hope he drags you through it a bit?
Yeah, no, I think not just tomorrow, but I think all season he's gone up another level in terms of maturity as a player and the way he leads himself as a player. And he's a full credit to himself. And I've only been here 2 years, but from the first day that I saw him, the quality was there, and I think he's just gone from stride to stride. And obviously to play with him, it's lovely.
Okay.
David, a lot of this season you've talked about resilience and character as the main traits of your side. How much is tomorrow the ultimate test of those?
Well, I think those 2 things you mentioned there are 2 of our traits, but I don't think they're all of our traits. I think we've got other parts to our game as well. But I think we've shown them in abundance over the last 2 seasons. And I also think that we've shown some other really good aspects of our game, and we'll need to show them all tomorrow night, not just one of them, but all of them will need to come to the fore.
David, hi. There's been a lot of talk about the atmosphere that there's going to be in this stadium tomorrow night. And often with games of this magnitude, you'll often hear the phrase, play the game, not the occasion. Mm-hmm. Is there part of you, though, as a manager, that wants your players to sort of embrace the occasion and feed off that energy and not be afraid of it, I guess?
I actually think one of the things we've enjoyed more than anything is the atmosphere in the stadiums. The seeing it, we had an incredible atmosphere in Seville when we played in Seville. Their support was fantastic. I've been to this stadium several times. I've watched some games. I've watched the national team play here. I've seen Frankfurt play here in the past. So, If you look at a lot of the games throughout Europe, the atmospheres in a lot of the stadiums is great. But this is what the players want. This is what we want. You know, 2 years ago, for 2 years we've been watching in Germany and in the UK, we've had no people in the stadium. And football is for supporters. We want supporters there. We want supporters to make a great atmosphere. So even though we're the away team, we're really looking forward to seeing what Eintracht Frankfurt are going to show us inside their stadium.
Sorry, David, could I just follow up by asking you, in terms of the amount of games, big games that you've managed in your career, how much you hope your experience in that regard will stand you and the team in good stead tomorrow night?
Yeah, well, it's a big game for me as well. You know, it's a big game for the players. Any player anybody who's played football will tell you, you know, getting to the semi-final of probably any competition, but to get to the semi-final of a European competition is huge for MD. So, big for me as well. I want to take the team to the final. I'm preparing the team to go to the final. We believe that, you know, if we get it right, we can do so. So we have to manage that, and the players are in the same place as I am. You know, we know Frankfurt are in front, and we've got a bit to do.
David, it's been a brilliant season. You've pulled off some fantastic results in the league and in cup competitions. What did you learn from that first leg?
Well, I don't think I learned anything new about Frankfurt, because I knew about their counter-attack speed, you know, their ability to play, the style they play in. And I've got quite a few people in Germany who I speak to regular as well, so who told me plenty about Frankfurt. So it wasn't as if we were getting to a game which we didn't know much about. I actually thought that the two teams were quite even on the night. I didn't think there was a great difference between both sides. We may see something different tomorrow night, but we think that we've got as good an opportunity as Frankfurt. We have to chase the game because we're a goal down. But in the same breath, Frankfurt are one up, and they're the ones who have to protect it.
Arguably, for some of the players, this is the biggest game of their careers to date. Have you sort of prepared anything special to say to the players, an inspirational quote or a story to tell them to try and motivate them?
Well, if I did, I probably wouldn't say it in here. But no, we've worked on things already. We've been doing lots of things to try and keep the players ready and making them think really positively about how they play. You know, playing against Seville, playing against Lyon were big games for us. This is an even bigger game and an even bigger magnitude. So sometimes you don't need too much. Sometimes as players you just need, hey, come on, let's get your job done, go and do all the things correctly. There's other times players do need a little bit more motivation. So you just really have to pick up in the mood and find out exactly what one of those is best to use.
Jacob?
You weren't happy with the quality in the final third last week. It felt like at times maybe it was a little bit rushed. Do they need to be maybe just a little bit calmer tomorrow night?
Well, I think sometimes when you see a team for the first time, you're not quite sure, but we missed 6 or 7 key passes which could have led to really big opportunities, and we didn't make them. So that was where I said that, you know, I thought we were short of quality in the final third. We didn't make those key passes or those opportunities. Frankfurt had 1 or 2 chances as well, but you would expect that. So yeah, we need it to work. You need to make those things happen, and when you get the opportunities, you're not going to. We get 2 games, 2 chances to do it, and we have to try and make it work in this game.
Darren?
David, before this Seville tie, you were very honest with us about your motivations and how you felt you had a lot to prove. Do you feel you've proved it anyway, or do you believe coming through this tie and actually winning this tournament would be your vindication?
No, I don't think that way at the moment, but I do feel that, you know, when you come back into the business, you've been out for a little while, and, you know, things haven't always gone well for you. I think you have to show that you can get back in the horse and do it as well as you can. I think prior to it, most of the time, most of the clubs I've been with, I've said before, I've had in and around European positions for longer periods than I've been at the bottom of the league, that's for sure. But getting to the semi-final of a cup competition like this is really important. I've been to 2 quarter-finals, a Champions League quarter-final with Man United, and a quarter-final with Everton in this competition. So to be in a semi-final here with West Ham is huge for West Ham as a football club. Really, really is, and I'm thrilled that I'm taking the team. I've got a great group of players who, as we talked about, resilience, character, all those things that go with it. And again, the reference to it was a bit earlier, was that, you know, it wasn't too long ago we were fighting relegation. So it's been a great climb, and I see no reason why it shouldn't continue.
With that in mind, do you feel, listen, between the last European tie and now this tie over the two legs, people expected West Ham to fall away in the league, not maybe be where they are still. Do you believe that this really is the new West Ham, and the perception of the club, the owners, everything around it has changed now for the better?
I do, and I don't want to go back. I don't know if MD wants to go back. I'm trying to give it at times I've used the word new West Ham, because I want people to see a new young team. So, for example, Jarrod Bowen, Declan Rice are new, young, up-and-coming players who are huge players, who the new young supporters we've got at West Ham hope can get their jerseys, support them, and they're the future for West Ham at the moment. And in the past, as we all know, there was great Sir Trevor, you know, all the people from the past who all the older generation talk about. I'm really hoping that in the future that, you know, this new young generation, the new supporters in a bigger stadium with more people coming, we'll be talking about the likes of Declan Rice and Jarrod Bowen hopefully for a game like tomorrow, and maybe a game in Seville in a few weeks' time, hopefully.
Dean at the back.
Yeah, evening, David. You've been very quick a lot of the time to play down how good this side is. And I know the recruitment's been excellent. The character of the side can't be questioned. But how important could this game be in terms of the future of these players and this team to get through a semi-final and get to a final in terms of their development?
Well, if you look at, I'm only referring because with Jarrod here, Jarrod didn't, and nobody else know, Jarrod, probably his development has been incredible. You know, you talked about the goals he scored, you talked about his assists, and you're actually now talking about someone who's probably on the verge of getting called up for his country. I'm not the England manager, but that's the way it looks like for me. And I think that's a big thing, that we've got players now doing that. But I do think that I play down the team quite a lot because I think that we've got so much more to do. And also, you know, there's a lot said, and there's a lot of really nice things getting said about it regarding our league positioning, getting said about our cup. I'm still saying I think I've got a lot more to do for this to be as successful as I really want it to be. I've got to somehow find a way of driving those players onto another level and making sure we're in a final, or try to be in a final. And if I don't do that, then I've got to try and make sure that we finish 5th or 6th in the league again, so that we can come through this process again. And this is part of the growing part. I talk a lot about West Ham trying to grow. And I'd have liked where league games have just slid away a little bit. But as you can see, when you've had Seville and Lyon and now Eintracht Frankfurt, it's actually quite difficult to concentrate on the Thursday game and the Sunday game and get them correct. So let's hope we can do something tomorrow night.
David, it's a follow-up from one of Darren's earlier questions. As I reflect on your managerial career, obviously the FA Cup final with Everton, as you mentioned, the quarterfinals of Champions League and Man United. For you on a personal level, what have you learnt from those previous experiences that you believe will put you in much better stead this time as West Ham manager?
Yeah. I've got to say then, when you get that more experience you start to see it differently, and you start to look at things. Sometimes you're calmer, sometimes you actually realise that, you know, you have to maybe get your players straightened out a little bit more. So our players have needed both. We need to keep our performances high. We need to be very good at all the simple things in football. But then we also need to show that little bit of flair and that little bit of individual talent. So, for example, Mickey Antonio needs to start showing us his finishing and what he's about, and what we know he's capable of. So if there was a stage to do it, it would be the semi-final. So let's hope that all the big players come to the table, come to tomorrow night. But you mustn't forget we're also playing a really good team in Eintracht Frankfurt who are trying to do the same. It's a huge night for Eintracht Frankfurt, not just for West Ham, for both teams it is.
Malik.
Hi, David. You were talking there about where you want to take this club. What would winning this competition do in terms of accelerating that?
It would be huge. It really would be, because it would be. I mean, I think that probably the climb in the 2 years we've had is probably a bit faster, and sometimes you can go and you have to come down a little bit to go again. Now, hopefully, we continue trying to grow that and build it, and that's what I'm trying to drive home. But the biggest thing I've seen is the mentality change in the players here is incredible. You know, I'm saying to Declan every week, you have to drive them on. Every day in training, the levels, the standards have to be taken higher, because he has a chance to work with some of the best players in the country when he goes away with England, you know, Harry Kane, Harry Maguire, you name it. And he has to see the best working, so he has to bring that back to our camp, and he has to demand it from the other boys. So the demand really is that we try and improve, and I put it on them. You know, they need to be the ones who do it as well. So the manager always is the one who sort of gets found out for if it happens or not. But, you know, sometimes the players need to be the ones who roll their sleeves up and not accept anything other than the best.
Jacob?
I just wanted to check, firstly, team news, and also just what you were saying there about Declan, about driving the team on. I mean, is tomorrow night a moment when he needs to do that?
Yes, but we also mustn't put too much on the young boy's shoulders, and I'm the one who's said it, because he is he's such a quality player and he's got tremendous abilities. So, you know, I challenge him a lot. But you know, we need to get a whole team performance, and everybody needs to perform well. We're playing a good side. We're playing against a side who has probably different attributes than maybe some of the teams we've played. As I mentioned before, very strong in the counter attack, very quick, very high intensity, energetic team. So that in itself brings different considerations in how you play. So need Deck to drive us on, but we also need him to play with a really steady and experienced head for someone who's young. At the moment, everybody, Ben Johnston, who had a thigh strain, he seems to be okay at the moment, so he'll come back into the squad. Issa Diop, as you know, is going over his ankle, but he's made an incredible recovery. Is he absolutely 100%? Maybe not, but we're at the stage we are at the season is we're needing to sort of maybe take one or two risks and get them back in the squad.
Last couple, Darren.
You said that you wanted to see more from Mickey Antonio. Does that mean we can expect to see him more in and around the penalty box? And also, how's your dad? You said that you wanted to enjoy Europa League and go to a few stadiums. You must be tired of it now.
Yeah, well, Mickey Antonio, we've always told him to be in and around the penalty box. We've not told him to go anywhere else. But my dad's coming tomorrow, and you know, I keep saying I hope my son takes me to the football when I'm 86 as well, because what else would you want to do? And you want to go to big games, and you want to get a chance to go away. So that's it. So lucky my brother's bringing my dad tomorrow night, and great, isn't it, that they get a chance to see you when it's in these stages. So I hope I can give him a night to remember.
Yeah.
Just one more about how you manage the game. You mentioned earlier on that you've got to chase it because you're a goal down. How tricky does that make the game plan, and how mature will the players have to be in order to execute it?
Yeah. I think that I use the word where we have to chase the game. We have to chase the game because we're a goal down. It doesn't mean that we need to necessarily go chasing from minute one to do that. I think we do need to manage the game correctly. Frankfurt, they need to manage the game correctly. They're a goal up. You know, sometimes that's a worry as well.
And just one at the back there.
Hi, David. Just about set pieces, you addressed it after the first leg and how they weren't up to the standard that you wanted them to be. Sebastian Rode of Eintracht Frankfurt was speaking earlier about how one of the ways that they wanted to stop your team tomorrow was by not giving away any easy fouls around those positions around the box. I just wanted to know, because Frankfurt make twice as many fouls as your team in the Europa League so far this season. Is that something that you address in terms of trying to provoke fouls from the opposition around those dangerous areas?
No, I think if MD watched their team in the last few weeks, even on Saturday, you know, the boy who was sitting next to me could easily get into a goalkeeper and probably got a goalkeeper sent off, and chose to ride it because it would have probably meant to get injured as well. So if there's one thing I think our team is we're incredibly honest. And I've said it, I'm not someone who enjoys players who go down easy, and in the same way I don't enjoy referees who give soft free kicks to encourage people to do it. So there's another side to it as well. So I think Frankfurt will play honestly and fairly. I know we certainly will, but you know, we need also to have referees who are, you know, recognising that there is a level of honesty, or at times, you know, things are they're not doing the right things.
Last two, one from 5 Live here.
David, I've been following your career for a couple of years now, and I was wondering, you talked about the importance of this for yourself. Is it in the top 3 of what games in your entire career if you manage to get through this one and get to the final?
Yes, but you know, as a manager, I've had loads of other things. Sometimes to have, in my early part of my career, to win a game at Preston North End, to get me to the playoff final. Remember beating Birmingham City in the playoff final. It was against, then we have played Bolton and lost in the final at Cardiff to Big Sam's team. There was nearly games throughout your career, you go along and along at different times. So sometimes every time you get to a real big one, you go, yeah, this is the biggest one. But all through your career, you have lots and lots of big games. And you know what happens is, you know, Dean's here, all the boys who've been players will tell you, in your career, you have lots of ups and downs, probably more downs, because it's very hard to be a winner all the time. It's very hard to be winning the big games, the top games, because everybody's fighting for that prize. So you have to sometimes accept that as part of being a footballer or a football manager. But I think when you get so close, you're saying, come on, is this my turn? Is this my chance? So I've got to hope that that it's my turn.
Last one from Jordan.
David, just on your dad, obviously you're always motivated to win a game and it's always special to win a semi-final in Europe, but just how much more special would it be for him to be here and to see that, especially after what you've been through in your career to where you are now, and to do it in front of him as well?
Be special, be even better if it was the final. So that's the plan, you know. So he wants it to be the final, so do I. And having him here is great. And I think the point I'm making about it, as we all know, when we get to 86 or 87, you're hoping that somebody's taking us to the football, you know what I mean? Because that's what you want to do. So the biggest thing is that he enjoys it. And the biggest thing for me is that we get to the final.